Well, lore lovers, the time has come once again to dive into the continued story of Horizon's universe with the debut of issue 2 in the HCD comic series. If this is your first exposure to the comics, I might suggest that you check out our other videos exploring the previous 2 issues to make sure you're all caught up on the series as a whole. If you're new here at RSQ, we specialize in the lore and story of the Horizon universe, so if that kind of thing is right up your alley, consider subscribing and checking out the rest of our content. We will be delving into details that will most likely reveal themselves in Horizon Forbidden West and the story beats of Horizon Zero Dawn, so spoilers ahead. Our story picks up during the flashback of Talana and Aloy pursuing the hunter-killing machine that had attacked the convoy we saw in the last issue. Atop a small hill, they spot a sawtooth bearing down on a fleeing child. Once the two take action, it quickly becomes evident that this is no ordinary sawtooth. The two use spears, arrows, tripcasters, and blast slings before the beast is finally brought down. After the danger is past, Aloy inspects the kill further, coming to the following conclusion. These machines may come in different forms, but their dark armor is the same. Too many kills will draw one, and nothing stops them from killing whatever gets in the way. The story then flashes back to the present, as Talana had been explaining how she knew the nature of these dark armored machines to her newest ally, Amadis. She knows that if they're not able to catch up with the rogue hunters led by Chiron, they and the others without the skill to bring down such an enemy will be massacred. Now persuaded, the two hunters pick up the trail left by their target. While traveling, Talana begins to pry into the past of her mysterious compatriot. As they pass a crumbling manor overtaken by nature, the Sunhawk inquires if it means anything to Amadis. He explains that before the manor fell, its residence was the cause of much strife to the village. The noble who had lived there had left to fight in the red raids of the Mad Sun King. Presumably due to being on the wrong side of history, their family name was disgraced, and the residence was abandoned and left to ruin. Talana then noticed a symbol etched on the outer wall, one she identifies as belonging to the Ko-Variv family. Evidently a threat, she elaborates that those who lived there seemed to have made a powerful enemy, and might have contributed to their disappearance. Before it can be discussed further, Amadis stumbles upon a body. Upon further inspection, the body is identified as one of the mercenaries of Chiron's hunting party. Despite the loss, imprints on the ground show that they were able to bring down a Claw Strider, evidently fulfilling the contract for the machine. However, Talana points out that the tracks left by the felled Claw Strider are not heavy enough to belong to the hunter-killer they had been tracking, leaving the others still in grave danger. Amadis agrees, and insists that the two should hurry, and that they are close to their desired location. When she asks how he knows this, he informs Talana of the history behind her contract. It turns out that a group of trappers in the area had been cutting down machine herds. This in turn drew the attention of the combat class machines that were tasked with their protection. First came a Ravager. Though dangerous, the trappers were able to deal with it. But when a Claw Strider made its appearance, they realized the risk of combating it was too much, and decided to contract the Hunter's Lodge. As Talana and Amadis continue to track the machine, they come to a point where there are too many tracks to clearly identify the ones they're looking for. Luckily, through the undergrowth, they overhear a disagreement between two groups of individuals. There, beyond the tree line, we see Duvad and his group of trackers arguing over payment with Chiron and his lackeys. As the debate over contract specifics continues, the threat that they had been dreading finally makes its appearance. Just as the group catches a sound, the machine is already upon them. Within a moment, this dark Claw Strider pounces on one hunter, crushing him beneath its clawed foot, and rams another off his feet. Despite taking some damage, as she moves to defend Chiron, the machine swipes Talana with its tail, knocking her prone. As it's about to run her down, Amadis sinks an arrow into its eye, drawing its attention on himself. As it charges at the hunter, it falls victim to a shock wire, stunning it. In this moment of opportunity, Talana springs back into action, kicking the machine off a nearby cliff into the river below. Once the threat is past, as the two heroes collect themselves, they quickly realize they are in a different sort of predicament. Surrounded by those they had just saved, a voice sounds out from the crowd. Forget the contract. We just found ourselves a bigger bounty. Bringing the story to a close. It would seem that Talana's newest ally may have a checkered past that we are yet to discover, one that will most likely be revealed in the next installment. Though not the most obvious or lore-heavy, there are some rather interesting details revealed in this latest chapter. Let's dig into some of the smaller developments. First, we find out the name of the mercenary company hired by Chiron, being the Burnished Sons. How many of them are actually left alive after the attack in the story, as of now, is uncertain. Next, we hear of this Ko-Vareve family, yet the symbol we see on the side of the manor is one that we have seen before. This stylized bird-type iconography is fairly prevalent in Carja culture, drawing inspiration from the glinthawks that perched on the Elite during Ahriman's discovery of Meridian. What we see here is the most ornate variant of the symbol, most likely indicating higher stature or power. How Talana identified the exact family from the symbol, however, remains clouded. Last and most importantly, we see the development of these dark armored machines. Rather than an entirely new machine design as we had speculated, it would seem that this development is a variant that can appear on any number of machine types. For those unaware, this may seem like a new development in Hephaestus' machine production. However, this is just the latest iteration in an existing trend. In the Collector's Edition guide, we see that once a certain threshold of machine kills is reached, their specific type will permanently be manufactured with more armor than they had previously. Of course, there is a definitive difference between this process that we see in Horizon Zero Dawn and what we witness in the story. Not only do these machines have variant armor, but it also seems that the overhunting of machines will directly draw one of these advanced hunter-killers, or guardians as they're referred to by Amadis, to the spot for the sole purpose of relentless eradication. Whether this dark armor is more resistant to damage than the typical plasteel variants remains unconfirmed, but it seems like only the most skilled hunter should even attempt to tangle with one of these machines. As intriguing as this development is on a lore level, I really feel that this is foreshadowing a game mechanic that will actually be a big part of Forbidden West. Personally, some of my favorite moments in the game came from the satisfaction of bringing down the legendary machines like Redmaw and the Claws Beneath, and I would love to see another tier of machines that are far more formidable as a more prevalent part of the game. So if there's a system where your actions will spontaneously incur the wrath of these guardian machines, which grant you unique and rare loot, I really think that could go a long way to keep explorative gameplay exciting and worthwhile. Who was Amadis before? What's the history of this Ko-Vareve family? And what other dark armored machines will threaten the frontier of the Carja Sundom? All to be continued in the ongoing tale of Talana Khan Padish. And that brings our journey to an end. If you'd like to see more content like this, likes and shares are always appreciated, and if you're hungry for more Horizon lore, consider subscribing and ring that bell. Also consider supporting the channel on Patreon, so we can keep creating content just like this. Check out the link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep questing.